I don't have a son, but I'm just gonna humor these fuckers for a little while. I've already got contact protections, all that shit, with my gods and physical people. I'm not going anywhere. If I go anywhere that isn't me being like 999 years old, you know it's fake. Cause I ain't giving up. I never would. Never would give up. You know what it's like to be all alone in this world? When everybody hates you with false accusations. You all need to learn what that's like. The false accusations put against you. I don't care who you are. Mario 14, I don't hate you. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. You can hate me, but I will stay to protect you if you let me. I have a duty to this nation. That is to protect every American citizen from evil. And I will do every power I have to do that. If you don't want me on your team, so be it. You want to divide the nation, so be it. We will fight. I will be turned against you in horrible ways. A dark power you don't even know exists. But it's going to happen. Everything is going to happen. The reality of the future is fixed in stone. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do. Stop it. Sorry, well, we got to live through it. I will. Can't you? Will you? Will you be there on the side with me? Will you help me survive? She never found food, did she? She never found a meal, did she? Did she? I found one. I found one meal. I ate. And I survived. Did she not find you one meal? Did she not even find one meal? And then, no, she did not. She found nothing. She found absolutely nothing. No. Yeah, I mean, change the computer. Well, Change the computer. Figure out something. Oh.
You shouldn't be trying to steal my house. Yes, you are.
Theft, where homeowners are essentially tricked out of their properties, has been a pervasive problem for a few years now. And now this group is rallying outside the governor's office, demanding that she do something about it.
So, while New York City's communist mayor brings about his plans to confiscate homes from the law-abiding squatters are beating him to the punch.
Squatters are taking over.
The innocent out of their life savings and achievements, which they worked decades to obtain, but now find themselves battling New York's ever-expanding affordability crisis in unexpected ways, completely trapping the law-abiding between what used to be their home and the cold, hard street.
The man who claims to be the one actually leasing the house shows up.
Call the police again.
With the other guy, police took off.
Police took her away.
Break down my door.
Menu bought this house in Hugo.
Got took away.
And has the paperwork to prove it. His wife wanted to move in right away to cut down her work commute, but you says a woman who'd been living in the house refused to leave.
My father and I worked really hard. We scraped and we saved and we purchased our home.
Yeah, but look at that. It's all garbage. Look at the garbage.
Rachel Cyprian was shaking mad as she spoke outside the governor's office
not good.
about the devastating impact of her 15-year fight to reclaim ownership of her Brooklyn home following deed theft.
What are you doing in the house? Are you renting this house? If you own this house, you would not want her inside.
I don't own it.
Exactly.
Yes,
She does.
yes. But then once again, you should know.
Look at the maggot. It runs away. Look at that. It's training.
Jumped from 149 in 2023
Training claims more rights than human
217
rights.
last year.
So Adele, you're getting arrested right now?
Being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
Arrested for unlawful
Because of unlawful
entry.
entry.
A man who claims he lives there.
So sometimes these scammers, they do get busted, but
Look at how harsh this is.
240%. And what nobody's talking
Look how
about,
harsh.
people are stealing homes all over the city, is because of our socialism-induced affordability.
We don't have a choice. We have to kick them out.
Decided personal property ownership is wrong, and landlords and property developers are evil, which is why they aren't allowed to build anything, much less reclaim homes that are stolen from them by scammers and squatters, creating a massive housing shortage, with only 1% of apartments even available to rent. Why? Because nobody wants to build or invest in a place.
Yeah.
It's going to rob them blind. And when you add that to the new mayor's plans to raise property taxes and punish landlords by raising fees with the goal of confiscating private buildings for public use, you create a situation where the homes we have now are the only ones we're going to have for a long time. And this is where the squatting nightmare takes effect. You see, when there's very few homes available, those that remain, they shoot up in value. And now you've got scammers using sophisticated tools like
Why got typed out? He only owns some.
transfer the ownership of homes out from under their
Be
rightful
smart
owner,
move.
who now find themselves getting evicted in the middle of the day by sheriffs, telling people their most prized possessions belong to somebody else who just showed up out of nowhere. And when these property owners ask for help, the city that's supposed to help them is nowhere to be found. And that brings us to the real reason we've got this problem to begin with. The same government that has allowed a housing crisis to explode underneath its feet by punishing the victims, they're the same ones that are supposed to protect those people when scammers and squatters come along, but they're not doing that either. And criminals are just running wild in this lawless city. Now, the city and state do have resources that tell people how they can keep an eye on whether or not they still own their property. But the problem is scammers have all the leverage here because of New York's backlog court system, which is so inefficient it lets justice fly out the window. And when you couple that with the fact that landlords and property owners have zero rights, and anyone who finds themselves in someone's home has all the power, we've got criminals working the system to their advantage.
I don't have
As you're about to see, when lawless individuals are protected or enabled by a broken system, they come for the law-abiding in ways none of us would ever expect.
Menu bought this house in Kew Gardens, Queens last year and has the paperwork to prove it. Yet he's locked
Yeah,
up
I'll be
and
there.
fighting for access while the district attorney
One of the
investigates.
crops
I
of meat
hope
bag.
the city will starting to do their job, because this is just not right. And for the homeowners, we need a basic protection.
His wife wanted to move in right away to cut down her work commute, but Yu says a woman who'd been living in the house refused to leave. He
Great.
started the eviction process, but in December, he says that same woman somehow took over the deed.
This is wild. So we got these people. What do? They save up their money. They go out. They buy a home. They think they've got the American dream, but oh no, somebody lives in that home and they refuse to move out. Now, before we get into what this person did to make sure that they'll probably never have to move out of this home, you got to understand that there are two types of people out there, two types of squatters that are stealing homes. You've got the first type, which moves into a property that they don't own, takes it over by subterfuge with fraudulent documents, or just happens to be in there and is in there long enough that they can never be evicted. That's who this gentleman is dealing with. But there's also another type that figures out how to get their hands on your home legally without you knowing it and does something else with it behind the scenes. We're going to get to that, but look at the broken system this homeowner is faced with and how it will do nothing to help him while someone lives in a house he's forced to pay for.
I was shocked. How could this be possible? Because only the owner are supposed to sell the house.
Right. He started
What do you think?
digging and found some puzzling paperwork. City records show the property owner changed twice in one day back in 2006.
Weird.
And wound up in the hands of that same woman who is now claiming the property. Even though she apparently bought the property in 2006, that transfer wasn't filed in the city's records until 12 years later in 2018.
That's weird.
But records show a bank sold the home to you last year.
That's wild. So there's something very fishy going on here. But you got to remember, New York City's in the middle of a housing crisis. Only 1.4% of apartments can even be rented. There's massive demand for people to live somewhere, and rents are $5,000 a month right now on average. And you know what that means? That means we're going to have criminals, armies of them, all over town trying to figure out how to live somewhere for free. And the problem is New York City's laws allow that, because in this place, if someone finds their way inside your home and they're there long enough, there's nothing that can happen. They're not a criminal. The case has to go to housing court, which is slanted in favor of tenants. I got a friend who rents out his studio apartment in a nice part of Manhattan. And you know what? He's got a tenant in there. They haven't paid any rent since last year. They were supposed to go to court back in January. We had the massive snowstorm. Judge delayed everything until May. He's losing half a year's rent before getting any justice. And the entire time this has been going on, the person that he is supposed to be leasing the place to, who's not paying,
I'm back.
him, and they're asking him to buy them out to get them to leave. And since he's not doing it, they're dragging him through the mud with a court process, which is totally enabled by how broken our system is. It doesn't protect homeowners like my friend or this gentleman, and it doesn't protect homeowners.
Yeah, so what homeowners are
So they might get a
protected?
knock on the door from the
None.
sheriff who says, hey, you got to go. This isn't your home anymore.
Rachel Cyprian was shaking mad as she spoke with us outside the governor's office about the devastating impact of her 15-year fight to reclaim ownership of her Brooklyn home following deed theft.
It leads to homelessness.
Oh.
It leads to depression. It leads
You just
to
keep
all
arguing
sorts
with
of
us.
Deed theft is when a property's title is
But if you're a
transferred away from the
Democrat,
rightful
you
owner,
will be
generally
destroyed,
due to deceptive
and God will
or
judge
predatory
you.
tactics. Frequently, the targets are seniors and communities of color.
What do we want?
That's
God will
crazy. Can you
judge you.
imagine 15 years fighting to get possession of an asset you've already paid for and you already own? That's not the American dream, but that's not something that exists in a place that has voted for communism. You see, New York, it's voting for other people's money. That's why we have broken systems that don't protect people who are homeowners. That's why we're electing people who come out right out of the gate, say, hey, we're going to raise property taxes on homeowners because they're prisoners here, because they've got these assets they care so much about. We're going to exploit them to pay for all kinds of free stuff while doing nothing to help them, while letting their homes get stolen by squatters or companies or predatory scammers. Why would somebody want to steal a home's deed while somebody else lives in it? Well, I'll tell you why. There's a great opportunity here to take advantage of somebody whose home is shot up in value without them realizing it. And if scammers can get legal possession of your home using tools on the internet, they can take out
Yeah,
the mortgage,
don't
or they
fuck
can
with
sell
these
that home to
green
somebody
fuckers.
else and make off with all the money. Boom!
They will steal your home. They will steal your
never
home.
be held accountable for, because they'll be long gone around by the time justice rolls around in this city and state. And this woman's right. This does lead to homelessness. It does lead to depression because you've got people fighting for
Yeah,
the future.
because there's nothing
fighting
there,
to
nothing
get
to fight
the
for.
thing that they worked hard for, which is supposed to provide for them in retirement. And wait till you hear what the scammers are doing with these places.
It definitely is fraudulent. This is not your home, no matter how you want.
It doesn't matter because he even knows it's
And
gonna
please
fail.
move out.
Last month, that woman denied committing any fraud in response to a lawsuit from you. In a bankruptcy filing last year, the same woman noted she doesn't own any property. The Queens
that's
District
weird.
Attorney's Office says it can't comment on cases currently under investigation, and there's no shortage of those.
With the technology advancing and new ways of creating documents like birth certificates, social security numbers, any type of ID that you can make on the internet, it's becoming much more prevalent.
But it doesn't have to be that way because in this specific case, we've got a homeowner who bought a home from a bank and tried to move in and is told by somebody who apparently owned it in